Today is the day that I'm going to tackle this damaged trailer. I finally made a decision on what I need to do because we are still having storage problems on our property, and we were using this trailer for storage until I dropped a tree on it, damaged the trailer, and it was a major loss. So after looking at it, I've decided I'm going to start tearing it down, cutting out all the bent metal, and we're going to do our best to get this thing back together because I need it. I just need it, and we're going to hopefully do our best with it. Here's the bad news. I did find out that the actual trailer frame is bent. Underneath the main chassis, this side has a swoop in it. It took the weight of the tree straight down to the trailer chassis. I don't think I can straighten that. That's going to make this challenging. But we're going to work around it because honestly, I just need the space. I need to put stuff in here and I can't have the weather getting in. So I'm going to start pulling off the side panels here, strip all the skin off and start cutting. And then we're going to see what we can do with it. If it doesn't work, I'll just scrap it, okay? But we can start and hope for the best. What kind of screw has 8 points? Oh, square. You know, that stumped me. Let me see this. I thought I was dealing with some kind of special screw because it had this weird star shape. It's just two square, like a square fitting can fit in there. A square bit. I must have missed a screw. Yep. Stand clear in case this falls.
Yep.
Let's not bend this all up just in case I need it.
That was loud.
There's what we got.
Now we have to do the...
Now I can start cutting out this jungle gym and trying to figure out what is salvageable. You guys are right. I don't want any metal in my eyes. Wow! Did you guys just experience what I just experienced? When I just cut that metal, my first cut, there was so much pressure pulling. Look how much is separated. It just pulled right apart. Pop! It just popped when I was cutting it. And that actually might have relieved some pressure on the frame. It'd be interesting to see what it looks like after this is all cut out. Wow, so we got most of that cut out. I might even do one more over here. I'm just trying to get out anything that's not straight. Anything that got bent has to come out. And everything else is looking pretty good except for maybe this one right here. Slightly bows in. It's not that big of a deal. Let me look at this, see where we're at. So I've looked at it and this is what I have to do. This wall is bowing out because the tree came this way, pushed it, everything that way. I'm thinking if I put a strap right here at the center of the bend and I come down at an angle and I attach it over here to the bottom, if I can pull it, it might pull the bend out and square it up. So we want to pull it this way together to square this place back up. It's going to be really hard to get this square because we're not sitting on level ground and there's nothing to level or square anything to. And it makes it tricky even if I leveled it. We were thinking maybe we should level this whole trailer, get it up on blocks so that we have it totally dead level and we can just build level and plumb. Well, how do you level a trailer with a, you know, a dip in the frame? That's tricky too. So I'm not sure. I'm just going to try to start by pulling here and just seeing if the metal wants to pull out. That's kind of working, but it's not going to stay. If I let go of that strap, it would spring back. So what I got to do is relieve the pressure. Yeah, maybe pull it a little further than I need, but also relieve the pressure. I might bang on it with a hammer to help keep it there, take the pressure out of the metal, and get it to want to stay here. Drastic times call for drastic measures. The straps weren't cutting it, but we have an excavator. That's why the trailer's damaged. And we're using it to pull and push the metal, and it's actually working. I'm reforming the walls and straightening them by eye. It's not going to be level. Now I've been pulling on this and twisting it and tweaking it, and I got it now, I think, where it's pretty good. Now, a lot of this wasn't captured, but let me tell you the process. We pulled out the excavator, and I've been pulling on it with the excavator every direction that it needed to be pulled. I was grabbing on the walls, pulling them in and out. It pulled everything. I mean, I could lift this whole thing with the excavator, so it was easy to manipulate the metal, but it took a long time to get it right, to get everything straight. We were pulling, pushing, lifting. The wheel wells were kind of bent, and I had to push them back straight and lift the metal. And the biggest obstacle was the bow in the floor. Remember I told you that the frame underneath had a sag? Well, what I did was I went on the side, right down here, and I piled a bunch of big lumber underneath the frame right where the bend was, piled it under there, and I lifted up the tongue with the excavator, and I dropped it on the pile, and I kept doing it, dropping it, like lifting it way up, let go, boom, the trailer just shakes all over. It's crazy. That was working, but it wasn't doing enough. I tried pushing on it. The problem was the trailer's too light, so it like teeter-totters on the wood. So we pulled our red tractor up on the back of it. After I had weight in the back of the trailer, I did the same thing. I got this wood under the bow, and I push down on the tongue with the excavator. So we have weight there, we have weight there, we're pushing, and we're bending the frame. And what I did was I kept pushing, and I had a 2x4 sitting on the floor as a straight edge, a nice straight 2x4, so I could see the sag. And I kept pushing until the 2x4 was high centering. That means I'm bending it, over bending. So now instead of the bow, the frame is doing this. And I wanted to do that because when I let go, it's going to spring back a little bit. So I kept bowing and bowing. I'd let off the pressure, I'd look at it. Guys, it took a little bit of effort, but we straightened the frame. It looks dead straight and perfect now. And I'm shocked by that. I'm just shocked. The 2x4 just sits flat. So we were able to get the bow out of the frame and everything looks good. The wheel wells aren't perfect, but we got them better. We're ready for the next step, which is leveling. Now that the trailer is sort of straight and I'm done throwing it around, and I'm telling you guys, it was violent, but it worked. Now we can get it blocked up. The reason we want it blocked up is so that we can level the frame and have this whole trailer sitting on a level ground so that we can frame in it. Because right now, on uneven ground, no matter how much I straighten it, the trailer's twisted, it's not right. So if we get it on blocks, I can level it. And then when I build, I can build plumb and square. It'll make framing a lot easier. So I learned my lesson on the mini mobile back there. I didn't level that prior to renovating it, and it caused all kinds of problems. So I'm gonna do it right this time. I picked up some mobile home pier pads, and these are just plastic supports made for cinder blocks. The smooth side goes down, you throw your cinder blocks on here, spreads out the weight on the ground, and gives you an easy to level surface to build off of. These are so much easier to level than like the old 16 by 16 concrete blocks. They're so heavy, and like you put the block down, and if it's not level, you got to lift this heavy block up, level the ground, put it back down, try it over and over. These, look at this, a lot easier. So I'm actually liking these. Okay, first block done. Now let us decide if that's going to be enough. It's going to barely take these off the ground. Okay, that's our first pier set. I thought it was time for an update because we just finished up leveling this trailer. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's good enough for what we need to do. We got piers all the way around. And now the whole point of this is to take any twist out of it, any sag out of it, and make the floor as level as we can so that we can start framing inside. We're going to be rebuilding the inside of this with wood. I don't weld, but I can frame with wood. And we have to close this back up and build a new roof. And so I'm going to use the material that I know how to work with. But I'm going to be framing the entire perimeter with new wood and building a frame inside this shell. That means I probably will remove the rest of the ceiling bars. I'm going to cut those out. I've been hesitant because they help keep the shape. You know, without those, the walls are going to be pretty floppy. But I think as we go, I'm going to be cutting those out and just cleaning it up so that the wood walls can sit nice and flush all the way up to the top, because otherwise it's going to hit those. And we will lose about 7 inches of space in this structure, which is a shame because, you know, space is valuable. That's why we're saving this, so that we have room to store things. Building walls, we're using 2x4s, and we probably should have stuck with 2x3s, but 2x3s are a little bit hard to work with, and they're notoriously warped and bad to work with. So I just said let's stick with 2x4s. They're cheap, they're plentiful, and they're straight. And but you know, 3.5 inch thick walls is going to lose about 7 inches, and if we do an internal wall covering even more, you can count on 8 inches of space being gone. But at least we still have space. It's a pretty big trailer, so we'll deal with that. Couple of things I have to think about is, am I insulating it? This building is not ever going to be climate controlled, I can tell you that. But insulation might help cut down on some radiant heat getting in. Just the sun is going to be on it, and it does help when it's not too hot in here. So I'm tempted to insulate the walls. It's an added expense. So that's something we're going to think about. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe a solar powered fan would help. Put a solar panel on the roof and just have it blowing air through here when it's hot out. I don't know. I'll give it some thought. But that's where we're at. Trailer leveled, trailer hacked. And next time I'm going to be framing. I hope I can get it all done, because we need to move on to bigger and better things. And thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.